Yo, 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 what's good? What's good? All right. Uh Before I start, I'll just wait for some people to come in. And until then, enjoy these tunes. Or this tune. Oh, all right. All right, man, let's get to business. This is serious right here. What's up, everybody? What's up, everybody in the chat? New, Mito, Hank, what's going on? And everybody else, what's up? All right. The link that I just dropped in the chat is the article that I'm about to read to you guys. This is serious right here. You know, for those of you guys in the so-called black manosphere and people in the manosphere, period, you have to take the realm of politics seriously. And when I mean seriously, I'm not only talking about just being politically aware and studying politics, I'm also speaking about engaging in politics and be politically active as a group. Because these females, especially the so-called black female, they're being more and more politically active as it is. It's to a point where right now, 61 so-called black females are running for Congress right now. And I'm going to read this article to you to show you this. Let me show you guys the screenshot. All right, hold on for a minute. Let me hold on. Hold on. What's going on, Sheila? What's up? What's up, Sheila? Oh, New, you still at work? Yeah, a lot of streams going on. All right. Okay. Yeah. All right. Let me show you guys this. It's from ABC News, dated October 21st, 2020. All right. It says women of color are running for Congress in record numbers. Will Republican and Democrat women change the face of Congress? And it says this. Now, this is not the article. Damn, man, it's not the okay. It's pertains to the same topic, but this is not the article. Fuck it. Okay, Cori Bush, a St. Louis, Missouri native, did not grow up thinking she would become a member of Congress. She is a formerly homeless black woman who faced domestic violence and became a single mom while living in a congressional district that had been represented by members of the same family for half a century. Yet in August, Bush, who became a progressive activist after Michael Brown, a black 18-year-old who was fatally shot by a white police officer in 2014 in Ferguson, Missouri, ousted longtime representative William Lacey Clay in the Democratic primary of Missouri's 1st congressional district, ending a political dynasty. It wasn't until Michael Brown was murdered when I just realized that there has to be more to this seat, especially when we don't see our Congress member out here at the protests and all, Bush told Good Morning America. That's when my eyes started to open that something is missing. Bush, 44, ran and lost against Lacey Clay in 2018. The election cycle, dubbed the Year of the Women, for the record number of females elected to Congress. 2 years later, with the nation mired in racial unrest, Bush's primary win puts her at the forefront of a new record-breaking election cycle. This time, because more women of color are running for Congress than ever before. At least 115 women of color, women who identify as Asian or Pacific Islander, Black, Latina, Middle Eastern, or North African, Native American, and or multiracial are nominees for the U.S. House in 2020, a new record according to the Center for American Women and Politics at Rutgers University. That 115 women includes record numbers of Native American women and Black women and Latinas running. In the current Congress, just 48 out of 127 women serving are women of color, according to the CAWP. Hold on, okay. All right, here's a chart for you showing how many women of color are running for the for the U.S. House from year to year, 2004, 2006, 2010, and in 2020, 115 when it comes to women of color. One of the things that we know is that when women run, they win at about the same rate that men do, said Debbie Walsh, director of the CAWP. Our challenge in many ways has been not enough candidates, so seeing more candidates will bring us more representation and more office holders for women and women of color. What motivated women of color to run in 2020? Bush said she wants to bring to Congress a direct link to the people of her district and the issues they face daily, and fight for big ideas like criminal justice reform, policing reform, Medicare, and education for all and equal rights. Yeah, right. I'm taking my own live experience to Congress and what so many people in my community have gone through, where they have felt, neglected, underrepresented, just not heard, she said. I'm not going to stop being an activist just because I'll be in Congress. And this is Cori Bush right here. All right. For Tamika Hamilton, a Republican and first-time candidate for California's 3rd congressional district, getting involved in her local community after retiring from 14 years active duty in the U.S. Air Force opened her eyes to running for office. From there, the Dixon, California resident, who remains a sergeant in the Air Force Reserve, said seeing the high rates of homelessness, particularly among veterans, motivated her to put her name on the ballot as well as other issues that affect her district, like jobs, middle class tax cuts, and water for the farming community. A mom of four, she said she also wants to make sure her kids grow up in an America that is free and strong. And I guess that's her one of her comments that she made. She said, "My motivation to run is truly thinking about our future." Okay, my motivation to run is truly thinking about our future and thinking about what life could be like if we don't continue to be able to be free, said Hamilton. I know it sounds cliche to a lot of people, but it's really important to me that my children grow up in an environment that they can express themselves freely and they can be who they are. That's her. I guess that's her right here, Tamika Hamilton, who's running for the 3rd Congressional District in California. Another reason more women of color are running for office is that success begets success. According to Walsh, she said it is no accident that more women are running in 2020 after a year like 2018, which saw political newcomers like Representative Lauren Underwood, black woman who won in a majority white Illinois district, and Representative Alexandria Ocasio-Cortez, oh, Jesus Christ, a Hispanic woman who defeated a longtime incumbent in New York, stormed the national stage. Oh, boy. You know it's a problem when you got all these females running for Congress and their motivation behind running is Alexandria Ocasio-Cortez. Oh, please. Okay, the positive part of doing this is we're showing that it can be done, said Michelle de la Isla, the current mayor of Topeka, Kansas, and a Democratic candidate in Kansas' 2nd Congressional District. If a single mother of Puerto Rican, Hispanic, Black, Italian descent can be running in Kansas, anybody can run anywhere. And my daughters are getting to grow up with a woman that they're seeing is being able to do that. What about your sons? You talking about your daughters. What about your sons? Anyhow, right? Political analysts also do not underestimate the role of President Donald Trump's surprise in 2016 win over Hillary Clinton, who would have made history as the first woman president, in motivating women, especially Democratic women, to run. For any type of political movement, what you generally would expect is a catalyst event. And in this case, the catalyst event was the election of Donald Trump, said Rachel. How you pronounce that name? Bittercoffer. Oh, no, I don't know how to pronounce her last name, but editor of The Cycle, a political forecasting site. We really are looking at some extra urgency among women of color who feel particularly maligned, and they should under this administration. Of the 36 new women who were elected to the House in 2018, only one of them was a Republican. This year, 33 women of color are running for Congress as Republicans compared to 82 women of color running as Democrats, according to the CAWP. I think a lot of Republican women are inspired by seeing the success of women on the Democratic side in 2018 and getting a little tired of the narrative that Republican women weren't interested in politics or that they didn't have a role within their own party, said Walsh. I absolutely think that seeing any women of color run for office inspires others. Other females. Remember that. Experts say, too, that more women of color running for office is a direct reflection of people realizing the impact lawmakers have on their lives and a realization that lawmakers don't always reflect their own lives. Our country is changing, and it is changing, not for the better. Our country is changing, and for way too long, young women have looked at what a leader is made of, and it doesn't look like them, said De La Isla, and more, our country is becoming more diverse. Yeah. Yeah. More feminine. That's what she means by diverse. She means diverse as more feminine or more catering to feminism. That's what a lot of them mean when it comes to quote unquote diversity. But moving on, hold on. Women of color are around 40% of the female population in the US, yet women of color constitute 9% of the total 535 members of Congress. On the state level, women of color constitute 5% of total statewide elective executives, according to the CAWP. If we want to change the laws in this country, we must change the lawmakers. Yeah. That's I guess that's one of her quotes. I think folks are really seeing the connection between if we want to change the laws in this country, we must change the lawmakers, said Stephanie Brown James, co-founder of the Collective PAC, which supports progressive black candidates. We've just had women see that We've just had women see that you don't have to have a cookie cutter resume to run for office. A bid to be taken seriously, running for office as a woman of color. For some candidates, a particularly difficult aspect of running as a woman of color is raising enough money to get on the ballot and then win a race that typically costs millions of dollars. One of the hardest things of being a woman has been the fundraising, because you can imagine I'm calling to ask for support and they're like, De La Isla in Kansas, said De La Isla, who is balancing being a single mom, a congressional candidate, and a mayor. Oh my gosh, they got single mothers running. Oh, they got single mothers running for politics. Oh wow, damn. And if national party leaders, now, okay, let me pause this. Now, when you have, let me tell you guys something. When you have single mothers, right, running as mayors of cities, they running for Congress. Let me tell you something. Them being single mothers and having the experience being a single mother, don't be surprised if enough of them make it to Congress and create more and more policies that would, quote unquote, help single mothers. Help single mothers, or in other words, enable single mothers to continue to live off of the system. Trust me. You know, and if national party leaders have to choose between two candidates in a swing district, and one is a woman of color without a personal Rolodex to call on for fundraising, and the other is a traditional candidate, a white male who has connections to raise money, the overwhelming majority of the time, the white male will get the party support, explained Bitterkoffer, however way you pronounce that. I don't know how you pronounce that. Women of color candidates also have to deal with the otherism of their campaign. If Hamilton wins her election in California, she would be only the second black Republican woman elected to the U.S. House in history. When I first walked into my Republican Central Committee meeting, they looked at me like, "What are you doing here?" Recalled Hamilton. I was kind of taken back because I thought it would be about policy. It would be about my ideology. And they were like, "Well, we just have never seen a black woman Republican before." In the past two election cycles, some Republican women of color have also been in difficult positions because of the candidate at the top of the ballot, Trump, according to Jennifer P. Lim, founder and executive director of Republican Women for Progress, a grassroots policy organization that supports women candidates. In 2018, when so many Republican women ran and lost, one of the biggest challenges they had was they were always being asked about Donald Trump, she said. If you're a woman running for the Republican Party, and especially if you're a minority woman running right now as a Republican, people have a lot of questions about that. Hamilton, okay, well, all right, I'll just stop right there. I'll just stop right there. You know? Yeah, I'll just stop right there, man. You guys got to read the rest. All right. Well, in this article was dated October 21st, right? So, because it was dated October 21st, it says 115 women of color are running for Congress, but There's another article I want to show you guys. Damn. Hold on. Okay, this is what I want you guys to see. Hold on, let me put the link of this on the chat. All right. This is the article I really want you guys to see. It was dated November 1st, 2020. All right. This is the article. The other article I previously read was a good article, but this is the article I really wanted to show you guys. It says only black women on ballot in these congressional races. From abcnews.com, abcnews.go.com, dated November 1st, 2020. It says right here, 61 black women are running for Congress. All right. Congress has historically been overwhelmingly white and male. But House races in Florida's 24th congressional district and Georgia's 5th district mark a diversity rarity. There are only black women in these ballots. I am happy to see more black women running than ever before, said Laverne Spicer, a Republican running in Florida's 24th district. The late civil rights icon John Lewis represented Georgia's 5th district starting in 1987. After his death, state senator and Georgia Democratic Party chair Nikema Williams was appointed to run in Lewis's place for the Democratic Party. Running to replace Lewis from the Republican side is running to replace Lewis from the Republican side is Angela Stanton-King. In Florida, incumbent Frederica Wilson has represented the district since 2011. Laverne Spicer is Wilson's Republican challenger, and Christine Olivo is her independent challenger. And oh wow, so in this district in Florida, it's 3 so-called black females running for Congress, I think in the House of Representatives, and it's 3 so-called black females, 1 Democrat, 1 Republican, 1 independent. Okay. And in Ohio's 11th congressional district, Laverne Gore, a Republican, is running against incumbent Democrat Marsha Fudge. In Florida's 10th district, Republican Vania Francois is running against incumbent Val Demings. In 2018, Congress added a historic number of women, 102 in the House and 25 in the Senate. In this upcoming election, a record number of women are running for Congress, with 298 on the ballot, and 61 of them are black women. Currently, there are 24 black women in Congress out of the 435 members. Only 47 black women have ever served in Congress. According to a Pew Research Center poll, 87% of African Americans align with the Democratic Party, but this year has also seen a record number of black Republicans running for Congress. Similarities in the districts. Constituents in both Georgia's 5th district and Florida's 24th district are over 50% black and are overwhelming black Democratic. In fact, they are 2 of the largest Democratic strongholds in the South. In both districts, less than 15% of the electorate voted for Trump and are registered Republicans. Nonetheless, Stanton-King and Spicer say they are running because they believe change is needed. This year, I have seen more black Republicans running than ever before. All of our leaders have been black Democrats, and they have totally let us down, said Spicer, a cosmetologist, entrepreneur, and political newcomer running in Florida. Stanton-King echoed that sentiment. We are living on the poverty side. It's not about Democrats or Republicans. It's about supporting the black community, she said. Supporting the black female. Supporting the black female and them fatherless children. Trust me, when a lot of these so-called black female politicians speak about supporting the black community, they're not speaking about adult black males. All right? Hell, a lot of times they're not even speaking about black boys. Okay? You know, they're speaking about the gynocracy. And listen, you know, when it comes to these 61 so-called black females that's running for Congress, you got them running in both major political parties, which is the Republican Party and Democratic Party. But don't get it twisted. Just because a so-called black female like Angela Stanton-King is running on the Republican ticket for Congress, don't think that they are not female first. Okay? It doesn't matter if these females are Republicans or Democrats. They are female first. It doesn't matter about how much so-called conservative values that a lot of these so-called black female Republicans like Angela Stanton-King preach. At the end of the day, if they're in positions of power, they will make sure that females are the number one group that's going to be satisfied by their policies. They're going to make sure that females are the number one groups that's going to benefit when it comes to them being in a position of power. Don't let that Republican shit fool you. Okay? Now, I will say this. Now, possibly a black female Republican politician might be a little bit more fair to black males than black female Democrats that's in policy. It might be a little bit more fair to males, but don't get it twisted. These females are women first, or quote unquote female first. All right. So moving along in the article, I think people are tired of the divisiveness. We have representatives that are Democrat and Republican, and they are not bringing anything back into the communities, said Christine Olivio, a Red Cross volunteer and political newcomer running in Florida's 24th district as an independent. It's kind of hurtful. People associate Republican with being racist, and the last thing I want from the very people I am fighting for, Stanton-King said. Differences. While both districts have a high African-American population, Florida has an emerging Latino population that Georgia doesn't have. It was mostly African-American, but it's no longer. Probably almost half Hispanic. So with that change, political change is going to come, Spicer said. According to the Census Bureau, 29.5% of the population is Hispanic. In 2016, about 30% of Hispanics voted for Trump, compared to 11% of African Americans. While the Cook Political Report currently lists the district as Democrat, changing demographics could change the political climate. Since all of the women are black and the seats were previously held by African Americans, the results will not affect the racial diversity of Congress. However, running on a ballot with all black women is still rare, something Spicer recognizes. This is truly a movement that is taking place. I believe a lot of black women are waking up, she said. However, Olivio said she has faced backlash for running against two other black women. A lot of people were like, how can you run against another black woman? There's almost this assumption that if there's already a black woman, don't challenge them. But we shouldn't be afraid to run against each other. I'm running to take what Wilson, has done to the next level, said Olivio. Stanton-King stresses it's not about tearing another black woman down. I think black women I think black women should come together. If I'm not the winner, I would love to sit down and share ideas. Let me read that again. Let me read that again. Angela Stanton-King said, I think black women should come together. If I'm not the winner, I would love to sit down and share ideas. Female first. Female first. I think we can show unity even if we don't agree, says Stanton-King. So, all right. All right. Yeah. I'm telling you. I'm trying to tell you guys this shit. Female first. All right. So what I have to say is to the so-called black manosphere is, what say you? What say you? What say you, man? Because see, I know that Soul and Black covered this. Hold on for a minute. You guys hold on for a minute. All right, cool. I'm back. But like I was saying, sorry about that. Sorry about that, guys. Like I was saying, right? But the thing is, what you're seeing is more females, especially so-called black females, being politically active. And believe you me, when they become politically active, it's about them attaining more power and actually utilizing their power to benefit females. They could speak about, let me tell you something, these 61 so-called black females who are running for Congress, they could speak about this bullshit about helping the black community and all that bullshit. When they speak about helping the community, they talk about helping mainly so-called black females. All right, helping other so-called black females. They're not really speaking about helping so-called black males. So what I have to say about that is that, where are our politicians at? Where are our politicians at? Where are our politicians representing us, that's coming to the forefront, putting themselves in positions of legislation in order to create policies that's going to benefit us as so-called black males? Where we at? This is big right here. This is big. Now, probably not all 61 of them, 9 times out of 10, not all 61 of these females are going to make it in the seat, but a lot of them will. And we can just assume that in the future, a lot more so-called black females will enter positions of Congress. And Congress is a very powerful position, because that's where you actually create, that's where federal laws are created. All right. So if you got more black females in positions where they create federal laws, and you got less black males that's in that same position, what do you think is going to happen to us as black males? So instead of us sitting down complaining about mediocre shit, when I mean us in the so-called black manosphere complaining about mediocre shit, we need to focus on things like this. I'm surprised that in this time where today is election day, that a lot of so-called black males in the so-called black manosphere are not covering this. They're not covering this. They're talking about other mediocre shit. But yet they speak about how they care about the conditions of black males. It's real funny. So we have to stop playing. I mean, Soul and Black Soul and Black is the only other person aside from myself in this whole space that's talking about this. This is serious. This is serious. These females are not playing when it comes to attaining more power. They're not playing around. They are entering. First, a lot of these females are entering fields of law, and then they moving up to fields of politics. Hell, a lot of them are not even in positions of law. A lot of them are not even in positions of law. A lot of them, like the one of the articles read, never even had political experience and just entered into political office. So what is stopping us from doing the same? And believe you me, like I said before, and I'm going to keep saying it again, that their main reason for running in office is to benefit other females, is to establish policies that's going to further benefit females. Benefiting females is the number one goal of their agenda. You know, they could speak all about this saving the black community shit all they want. Listen, what happened to Black Lives Matter? Look at what's going on with Black Lives Matter. Initially, the Black Lives Matter movement was supposed to be about giving attention and giving justice to all so-called black people that have been mistreated and abused systematically, right? That's been mistreated and abused by systematic racism. But over time, you see that movement have turned into this pro-LGBT, pro-feminist, matriarchal bullshit that females are benefiting from. All right? Off of the death of mainly dead black men. All right? And that's what you see going on right now. See, right now we live in a time because of this social unrest that's been happening within the past few months, that more so-called black people are being given more opportunities and more attention, especially when it comes to fields of politics. So black females are taking advantage of this because of so many dead black males, right? A lot of so-called black people are very disgruntled, and as we all have witnessed within the past few months, rioted. Therefore, what you have is, in order to ease the tension, in order to ease the pain and the anger that so-called black people have, you have the establishment that's saying, okay, we'll accept more of you. Come on in, right? And guess who's taking advantage of that? So-called black females. Where are we in this political climate as so-called black males taking advantage of this to put ourselves in positions of power, right? In order for we could pass legislation and pass policies that's going to benefit us as so-called black males. Where are we at? Because when you look at certain aspects in society, like for example, law, education, employment, etc., you see that so-called black males, in comparison to other demographics, benefit the least. Oh, especially in fields of education. Oh my gosh. Especially when it comes to public education. So in order for these things to change, we as so-called black males, especially in the so-called black manosphere, we have to put ourselves in positions of power and positions of policy so we can change the environment around us, in order so these disadvantages will no longer exist. Yeah. This is something to think about, man. Instead of sitting there crying over pussy. Anyhow, you guys have a good night, man. All right? Peace.